Hey guys, Ryan here, and welcome to a short little video here. It's about 11 a.m. and if you've never watched one of these before, I just take about 5 to 10 minutes and talk about different things that pertain to worship teams, worship leaders, worship pastors, mainly because I've lived in that realm for a long time now and was a music director, worship pastor, worship leader for over the past 15 plus years. So you can always go and like my Facebook page or the artist page, and you can check out the videos that I've posted. We've talked about how to build a team, about paying musicians, how to handle conflict, and those sorts of things. So in today's video, I want to talk about something that pertains to everybody that's going to be on stage, and that's how to be confident when you're on stage. How to, whether you're in a worship team, whether you're a speaker, a musician, a singer, whatever it is, how can you be confident and really grow in confidence on stage? And I think primarily confidence, especially when you're on stage, really boils down to one thing, and that's preparation. And that can be preparation spiritually, preparation musically, but it all comes down to preparation. And so, if the one thing that I've found with many people who are on stage, whether they're singers, musicians, speakers, if they're not confident, it is pretty much related to the fact that they're not prepared. They're not as prepared as they need to be. And so, when I see beginning singers on stage, when they're not just exuding a tremendous amount of confidence, it's because they're still kind of questionable about the lyrics of the song or the melodies or what they're supposed to be singing, the parts that they're supposed to be singing, what they're supposed to be doing, their mic technique, what are they supposed to do with their hands, how are they supposed to stand. Maybe they're not comfortable really in their own skin on stage. Same thing with musicians. When they don't sound like they're just exuding confidence or looking like it, it's because they're still having to think a lot about the chords that they're playing or the parts that they're playing. And even as it comes to speakers, whether it's somebody who's teaching the congregation or somebody who's making announcements or whatever it might be, it all comes back down to preparation. And so in order to have confidence and build confidence and get to the point where you just feel confident, is you have to practice. You have to practice what you're going to do. You have to prepare, both practically. So if you're a singer, you have to know the songs inside and out. You have to know the parts. You have to know your melodies and all that sort of thing. If you're a speaker, whatever that might be, if you're going to be doing announcements, you need to know the announcements inside and out, rather than kind of guessing at what's coming next. Or even if you're speaking to a small group, just knowing what you're talking about. I can remember as a kid, I took piano lessons since I was 4 years old all the way up through college. And I started very early on in front of people as far as being on stage. I remember one of the first times that I was on stage, I was with a choir. I remember singing solos, and then became a part of the worship team even before I was a teenager, and did that all through my teenage years into college and afterwards. And so from a very early age, I was always in front of people, in front of crowds of people, whether it was hundreds or thousands. And I can remember the times where I wouldn't feel confident was not when I was on stage. It was actually at home when we would have family and friends come over, whether it was for the holidays or just for dinner. I can always remember they would always want me to play the piano for them. And I always just, when people would come over, I just had this dread that would come over me because I wanted to play for them, but I didn't know what to play. And I mean, I could play classical music and church music and that sort of thing, but I guess in my mind, I felt like I needed to play something they would really enjoy, and maybe they wouldn't really enjoy what I was going to play. So I just didn't feel prepared to just be put on the spot to play. And so for a long time, I just started sitting down and playing every song under the sun, whether it was show tunes to classic rock songs to jazz, gospel, classical, you name it, because I didn't want to get caught in that spot where people said, hey, could you sit down and play? And then I'm just like freaking out because I didn't know what to play. And so all that confidence of being able to play in front of this small group of people was directly related to the fact that I didn't feel prepared. And so, again, whether it's in front of a small group of people, in front of a large group of people, confidence really comes back down to how prepared are you. And once you start getting into the routine of preparing and constantly preparing and making sure your preparation level is at the right level, your confidence begins to build, and then it gets to the point that if you have a situation where maybe you don't feel as prepared, because your confidence has risen to this certain level, your confidence can begin to kind of overcome that lack of preparation, so that if different things are thrown your way, you can kind of handle them because you've been prepared in the past. You're somewhat prepared here, but your confidence level has grown to a certain extent, and so you can kind of overcome that, and vice versa. So if you don't feel as confident, you can rest in knowing that you've prepared, and as you continue to execute what you've prepared, then your confidence can continue to grow. Last week I talked about how practice does not make perfect. Practice makes permanent. And so the more that you prepare, that gets ingrained into you, and then it's almost like second nature. It just kind of takes over. And so, again, confidence is really directly related to preparation. And so the more that you can prepare, the more that you can be confident, and then you can begin to walk in the role that God has given you. If you're a singer, you need to really know what is required of you as a singer, and then begin to walk in that and just kind of own that. I remember several times being on stage where things would kind of go wrong, and I would just kind of have to take over and do some different things. And as you do that, you kind of learn what works and what doesn't work. But as you do that, you begin to build confidence. You have to kind of give yourself the freedom to fail, because it will come. And in those failures, you will learn from it, and then the next goal is to learn from it, move on, make some successes. You'll have some failures, you'll learn from those, and then you move on and have more successes. So again, confidence on stage is really directly related to just how prepared are you. Prepared practically, and then prepared spiritually. I mean, that's I would rather be prepared spiritually and less prepared practically than the other way around. I see so many teams who take the stage who are just not prepared spiritually to take the stage. And so it doesn't mean that we have to have everything together. Every time we all step on stage, we're all sinners saved by grace. But it does mean, having spent time with the Lord, having spent time with the songs that you're going to lead, knowing what those lyrics are going to say, so that you can really believe what you're singing, and in communicating that to the congregation and the group you're in front of, they'll begin to believe what you're singing, and then it'll really take the worship experience to the next level. So again, I'd love to hear what you guys have to say about just confidence. What has been your experience in your confidence levels on stage? Are there times where you get stage fright? And how have you dealt with that? How have you overcome that? Do you feel like you're prepared for Sundays? Are there times where you wish that you were more prepared? So feel free to make comments down below. Again, you can always go follow me on Facebook, both my profile as well as my artist page there. You can stay up to date on all the videos that I'm putting out here, just practical things for the worship team, worship pastors, worship leaders. If you're looking to learn today's worship songs, you can always go to worshipartistry.com. That's a resource that I work with where we teach church musicians how to play today's worship tunes. And we teach bass, keys, drums, acoustic, and electric guitar on there. And it really takes your playing to the next level. So be sure to check that out as well. All right, guys, I hope that you have a great day, and we'll talk to you soon. Later.